Bitcoin's next major move: Ethereum, Aerodrome, Chainlink, Solana, Bittensor. We're seeing some major developments in the crypto ecosystem that we have to pay attention to because there's some key signals we're watching to either buy incredible dips or absolutely take the ride on these incredible rips that are about to come. What's going to come first? Let me know what you think in the live chat as you are tuning in right now. We're going to be getting going here in just a moment, getting this retweeted out over on Twitter, on X, on Rumble, getting this live everywhere. So let's dive into this data because we got some key signals, some key considerations that we want to pay attention to so that we can stay on the right side of the train. We're going to say Bitcoin, altcoins, key signals, key strategies to make sure that we can make profits in this cycle. Everybody, let's get into it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Let's go. Some incredible developments are happening across the crypto ecosystem as we speak. Over the last 3 to 5 months have been an overwhelming game changer in what we're seeing in terms of the projection, the clear path forward for the Bitcoin and digital asset ecosystem, including stablecoins. Who would have thought that stablecoins will probably end up being one of the largest things that ushers in the largest amount of adoption in terms of transaction volume and use case in this ecosystem as banks move to integrate stablecoin rails throughout their financial ecosystems. We're seeing major shifts in the market fundamentally, and we're not seeing it yet reflected in the price action on many of our favorite coins. In fact, if you're looking at Bitcoin, you will notice that Bitcoin is up tremendously over the last several months. In fact, it's up over its entire lifetime. We just get so enamored with the dips along the way that frustrate us because we're not patient or we don't have a good strategy. How's everybody doing today? We're going to be diving into this together in just a moment. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab Academy family. Shout out to our channel partners, Bitcoin IRA, which you can find more information on them at bitcoinira.com. And of course, we got to pay attention to what's going on in the other half of the world where there's some major conflicts that keep just battling down any sort of bulls that want to be here. But the question is the war, is the conflict happening right now in the Middle East actually having that big of an impact to the bulls in this market? Because some could argue that we're seeing tremendous bullishness right now as Bitcoin maintains its price level above $100,000 now for over a month, even in the face of all of these fears and the FUD and the nonstop confusion that's persisting in this market. Beyond that, we also see things on the home front here with the FOMC meeting, which started yesterday. We have the follow-up today, but we have the rate decision today at around 2 p.m. Eastern time, and then the press conference around 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. And all eyes are going to be on what the tone of that conversation is from Powell. Maybe they don't pivot. Maybe they don't do that cut that everybody wants. But it's telegraphed that it's more likely than not going to happen. If we get the cut, markets boom. If we don't get the cut, it's already expected. I think we'll see some small volatility around that. So stay tuned on all that. But then it's going to be about the tone and what is telegraphed through how Jerome Powell answers questions at the press conference that follows about 30 minutes after that rate decision. So all eyes are going to be on that. And I think we'll be going live on Discover Crypto to discuss that. As you roll in here, I want to see some engagement today. Let's break some records. We got a ton of people rolling in right now. We got about 1,000 people tuned in across the various platforms that we're live streaming on because we are on YouTube. We are on Rumble. We are on X. We are all over the place. So make sure that you're getting involved in the live chat. I want to say a good morning. I want to see a GM for every single one of you, but I want to see GM and either bullish or bearish on where we're going to end this week. Do you think we're going to end up in terms of price going up throughout the end of this, into the end of this week? Or do you think the price is going to go down? I will type GM and I will type GM bull, baby. I want to see every one of you get active in that live chat. Even if you're on X, Open it up, make it full screen. You'll see a chat window in the bottom right corner. Same thing if you're watching on Rumble. Wherever you're watching, make sure you are following the account that you're watching it from, whether it's on YouTube, Rumble, or my Twitter, or Academy, at Academy BitLab, which is the BitLab Academy Twitter. Shout out to Blockchain Basement as well. I love working with this wonderful gang of characters that we have here. Wonderful people, TJ and Drew and DZ and Josh, Tim. We've got a great crew here, but we got to look at the data. We got to look at the charts. We got some key things that are brewing right now that could have major impacts on what the next move is going to be. But we're going to be prepared either way, because I want you just to remind yourself what this chart looks like since the beginning of last year, 2024. What does it look like since the beginning of this year, which would put us right about right here. It's going to be right in here. This is the beginning of this year. Option V. There we go. So we've had a little bit of downside price action. Oh my God. But look, we've already rebounded back up, and we're actually up on the year, but we're up tremendously since January last year. In fact, we're up even more if you come back to the start of this run, which was right at the beginning of 2023, right here. Just been up and to the right with chop along the way. Once you realize this is a normal thing, the chops along the way are how you build incredible bull structure, but also how you can take advantage of either getting outside of the charts and not stressing yourself if you don't have the tools and the wherewithal and the emotional ability to limit all these struggles you're feeling internally. If that's frustrating to you, get out of the charts, or get in the charts and don't trade, but track what's going on emotionally. Look at it on a data basis. Look at it like trying to recognize patterns, because this has just been, overwhelmingly up and to the right. And we can just see this on this chart. This has been up and to the right. Okay, let's go click that 7. I don't know why this is there. It's not working. Okay, the arrow does not work. You get what I'm saying. Up and to the right. I don't know why that's not working. It's all good. But this is what we're looking at. This is at a key level. Bitcoin is at a key level right here as the world is waking up to this asset class, and we're seeing bigger and more stringent signs of why Bitcoin has so much value. And it's not just the monetary asset that can change our future. Look at what's going on in Iran right now, where the banking system, the largest bank there, just got hacked and all the data was erased. We also had exchanges in Iran, Iranian exchanges get hacked, where people have money, digital assets taking out of their wallets. So there's two things we need to pay attention to here. Yes, Bitcoin and digital assets are the rails of the future. However, just by thinking you own them and holding them on exchange doesn't put you in that same class of owning and holding Bitcoin. If you're holding Bitcoin on Coinbase, you're not really holding Bitcoin. Coinbase holds your Bitcoin. Now, the caveat there is not just Coinbase exchange. There's also Coinbase wallet. If you have your money in a Coinbase wallet, of course, that is self-custody. I recommend, our channel partner, you can see up there in the top right of the screen, Arculus, the best crypto cold storage solution out there. Get Arculus.com. Use code BitLab20, BITLAB20, BitLab20 for 20% off. Protect your crypto. Protect your future. I really mean that, because we're seeing signs and signals that are going to be chopping around, but we're seeing geopolitical conflict across the world. We're seeing exploits on basically lack of good cybersecurity practices and operational security and all these. Don't put yourself in further danger by not protecting yourself, because we are seeing some signs that are incredible. If we come over here and look at the crypto bubbles, Aerodrome is, I think this has become one of the most important assets out there. We've been talking about Aerodrome for the better part of, I think almost, I can't even remember if it's a year and a half or 2 years, since Coinbase Ventures did $100 million open market purchase of Aerodrome and discussed what they're going to be doing as dubbing Aerodrome the DEX of Base. And then some of the other things, which I got some critical stories we're going to be diving into here in just a second. Make sure you hit the like button if you like the content here. If you want to know more, if you want to make sure that you can stay in tune with what's going on in this market, and make sure you're subscribed. If you're watching right now, we still have about 50% of the people that are tuned in that are not subscribed, and you watch daily. So look right down below the video If you do not have that subscription marked, whether you're on YouTube, Rumble, or X, make sure you're following the account so we can keep you up to date on what's going on. But we got some important things. So many people are so confused right now about all of the noise of everything going on. And what is that noise, everybody? Politics is noise. News media is noise. All they're doing is spinning narratives. There's people on the left that think the right is stupid because how can they not know this and see all this? And there's people on the right that think everybody on the left is stupid because how can they see it that way? Are they not seeing this? No, you're both seeing entirely different sets of data. Well, why don't they look into this? Well, they feel the same way about you. All of this is noise. It's freaking nonsense. Don't fall for it. Don't participate in that negative energy within yourself, within your family, within your community. Share the thoughts and the facts that you think you found, because yes, these facts, all of them are facts you think you found. It's very hard to vet what is true and what's not these days. Do not get enamored with the noise out there. Lock in. Build something, speak freely, be kind, love honestly, be okay with disagreeing. If you disagree, it doesn't mean you just need to walk away. Say, okay, we don't agree on that, but we have common ground over here. That's okay. Go after what you love. Do it well. Give productively back to the world. And most of all, within all this, make sure you're buying Bitcoin. Those things are the biggest form of rebellion and everything that's going on right now. Do these things, your life will be happier, you'll be healthier, you'll be happier, and you will be much richer in the future if you're paying attention to something like this rather than all of the narrative. But we have some TA, we have some signals, we have some crypto levels, some particular coins that we need to be tuned into on the data, not just the price action of what's going on. So let's dive in right now. We got so many great people in here tuned in. I want to see everybody getting active in the live chat. What's the last thing you bought? What's the last thing you sold in the crypto ecosystem? I want to see it in the live chats. We're going to be trying to cover quite a few altcoins today as well, and some charts as well as Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the coins that you see on the thumbnail. So everybody get active. Let's make this more interactive. I'm going to be participating more in reading your chats and trying to get integrated with many of the things you guys are talking about. But let's look at what's going on, because guys, let me just say this one more time. Politics is noise. It's all narrative spin. Do these things, lock in, build something, speak freely, be kind, love honestly, be okay with disagreeing. Go after what you love to do it well, give productively back to the world, and most importantly, buy Bitcoin. Because when you look at this kind of data, this is why this is so important. In the day and age where money printing is going exponential, conflicts feel like they're more, but data shows it's not. It's the safest time in history, yet the world is just printing your money away into oblivion. You need to buy Bitcoin. Being a millennial captured in one picture, this is what highlights this. $162,000 purchase back in 1999. Same house listed for sale, $1.4 million. That, I mean, it's not like this house is that much better, but this speaks to inflation. This speaks to why we need to participate so heavily, at least with attention, at least with education, because if you educate yourself on Bitcoin, you will be finding ways to get allocated into it, everybody. And it's not just this. We are seeing major things. The sad thing is, these people get it. And these aren't people. These are businesses, funds and ETFs, right? Governments, but most importantly, individuals are being dum-dums right now when we have a chance to front run the world. The world is now waking up, and those that have front run are starting to sell off their assets within the crypto ecosystem. So follow the big money, because these are going to be the ones that shape the market, and we can swim alongside these whales. Remember, why is Bitcoin so important? Only a handful of years ago, it cost 10,000. That is not an error. 10,000 Bitcoin to buy some pizzas. Today, it only takes 4 Bitcoin to buy a house. Do you understand the difference there? Life priced in Bitcoin has gone down exponentially, while at the same rate, we are seeing the value of the dollar completely collapse on itself in the last 25 years, let alone the last 100 years. The pathway of the dollar in terms of what you can get from the world for the hours you work to collect that money, and then that money being able to buy less and less, while at the same time, Bitcoin, what you can buy with Bitcoin is not growing. It's going exponential by orders of magnitude. So we need to take this seriously. This is our opportunity. I see you, Dizzy Gang, Kenny Carneal. We got War Paint in here. Freedom Guy, 1776. I love that name. Seth Shepard, Bailey S, Ugan Sky, Byron Handel. We got the crew in the house today. St. Goose, Alexandra G, best mod out there in the crypto ecosystem. We got the fam jam here. Just shout out to everybody that is paying attention. Now, beyond everything that we just discussed, it's not just me saying this because I'm a Bitcoiner and I have crypto assets and I want it to go up. No, we've got the richest man in Mexico who's been touting this for some time, but this is just re-highlighted, said again. Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas says Bitcoin will be more valuable than gold. You understand what this means. It's not just Bitcoin going up in value, but this is also going up in value and displacing, overtaking the market cap of gold. Already, I would say intrinsically, Bitcoin is more valuable than gold, but we're going to start to see that get reflected in the price action, in the market cap as the world floods towards Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a new global reserve asset. So take note, make sure you're doing what you need to do. I can't advise you on what to do. I can share you data. I can share strategies, but if you're taking this seriously, let your portfolios reflect it. And we're seeing this seismic shift. This doesn't matter at stablecoins. It does. This changes the entire landscape of the crypto ecosystem globally. Why is this? The Genius Act just passed yesterday in the Senate. It still needs to go to the House, but it's a Republican-controlled House. And it was somewhat bipartisan in this, even in the voting yesterday within the Democrats voting, some of them voting for this act as well. Here's why the bill could reshape crypto, supercharge USDC and USDT, and unlock the next wave of adoption. There's so much going on here. We can see this specifically from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Recent reporting projects that stablecoins could grow into a $3.7 trillion market by the end of the decade. That scenario becomes more likely with the passage of the act, which we just saw that movement yesterday. A thriving stablecoin ecosystem will drive demand from the private sector for U.S. Treasuries with which back stablecoins. So there's going to be a lot of treasury purchases that are basically backing the stablecoin. In a way, we are upgrading the entire global financial sector, starting with the US right now, becoming, maintaining this financial hub, this financial powerhouse of the world, where the US Treasury market and the bond market has been essentially a ghost town, with most of the activity only coming from the government itself, buying from itself to help prop up that part of our economy. Now, if it's amazing to see with how much resistance the banking sector has had its foot on the throat of the crypto ecosystem, and now it's looking like stablecoins are going to essentially be this world bank 2.0, 72.0, whatever you want to call it. This upgrade is massive. It changes the way global payments will be made. It changes the way the treasury market, as they have to be bought as backing for the stablecoins, the on-ramps, the off-ramps. What we're seeing here is a seismic shift. And this is also echoed yesterday. We talked about this on the Mario Nawfal Roundtable. I hosted this. We had 192,000 people tune into this. I recommend going and listening through this because it's not just, hey, it passed. This is a hour and a half conversation with, we had a lawyer, and we had other key players in the crypto ecosystem discussing what these impacts are and why this is such an important shift. So make sure it's on my wall, on my page over here, right here at Kelly Kellam. There's only 2 L's twice. There's so many fake accounts. Make sure you're following the correct Kelly Kellam. Everybody go and check now, because there's so many scam accounts. Once you start doing things on a larger stage, people just create scam accounts. Make sure you follow me. Make sure it has this Mario icon here. And make sure it has all my info, but it's spelled this way. But go and listen to this. This is almost like I'd say it's your homework. Go and listen to this conversation, because it outlines all the reasons why this is so important. Now, continuing on, this is from AIXBT. Genius Act passed. $250 billion plus stables need proof of reserves now. This is going to be very important because, okay, Kelly, we don't care about stable coins. We want to talk about our altcoins. Well, why is this so important? This is overwhelmingly important because they need proof of reserves now. JPMD already running on base with Chainlink DVP, 40.9 trillion in assets already exposed to Link infrastructure. Sir, connect the dots. That's why we have Chainlink on the thumbnail, because it's not just these sorts of decisions affect other areas and other aspects and other coins and protocols in the crypto ecosystem on how this is going to be enacted, on how the legality of this and the integrations can, meet compliance. We have an infrastructure layer now within the crypto ecosystem. We've cleared the forest, we've cleared the land. We're starting to build this beautiful, amazing foundation. And all these altcoins, many of the altcoins that I keep highlighting here on this channel, isn't because I own some of them. I don't own all of them. It's because they're major infrastructure for this next stage of global finance. So this is incredibly important. And we can see this right here, the total stablecoin supply, that $250 billion. Chainlink is the only platform that provides proof of reserves, cross-chain connectivity, and on-chain identity and compliance in a single system, all critical to security scaling of a stablecoin ecosystem for global adoption. Now, this is not to even mention the fact that Chainlink also has that RWA, the tokenization aspect also built in, or at least utilized with some of these other aspects right here for other coins that are going to be doing RWAs, like Ondo, like we see with Injective, like we see with what's going on a number of different protocols and different aspects of the ecosystem. Chainlink is integrated with all of them. Everyone here is not bullish enough, says Keston. Shout out to you. I agree. Even as bullish as I am, I think we get so enamored. Let me say this again. Everyone not bullish enough, including me, with how overwhelmingly bullish I am, because there's no way we can project how far and how wonderful this market's going to run. The truth is, what happens is we get so lost in the near term, the short term, the 15-minute, the hourly, the 4-hourly, even the daily chart is too small term. We get so worried by the small movements because we want profits now. This is not Amazon Prime, deliver now, give me next day delivery. This is not how the crypto ecosystem works. We are retooling, setting up an entirely new infrastructure layer for the entire world economy as we speak. And along the way, there's a speculative market that's, posturing the price going up, incredible gains, but also this sort of disorienting, this disenfranchising feeling when you get the market drops. That's the speculative market playing these coins up and down, not the intrinsic value that's reshaping the global economy as we speak. We need to look longer term, pick our plays, find our entries, and hang on to our britches, because this market is going to rip. We just need to play this along the way. And just tune in here, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed. Let's go. Let's go, 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 go. We got so much to cover today, guys. We got some TA, we got some charts, we got some levels. We're still going through all these signals and what's going on this landscape. So let's continue on. Chainlink, of course. Chainlink also benefiting the most here from Bubba Fox. He says trillions of assets under management between Swift, DTCC, JPM, UBS, ANZ, settling quadrillions in security transactions every year, and Chainlink is about to become their universal standard for interoperability, messaging, and value transfer. Chainlink will allow them to plug their existing legacy system. This is one of the most important lines, one of the most important things about Chainlink. Using their existing legacy system, getting it plugged into the new financial internet, the new Web3, the blockchain, the transparency, the speed, the efficiency. This is the next frontier. We're in the middle of it right now. Do you understand? Citibank famously predicted that Chainlink would eventually eclipse Bitcoin. Now, I don't think this is going to happen. Bitcoin is its own standalone thing, but Chainlink stands to see some major shifts and participate in these shifts as they go along the way with the CCIP and many of the other integrations and implementations and tools that Chainlink has. Beyond that, we also see that the SEC Crypto Task Force met with JP Morgan to discuss crypto regulation and the potential impact of capital markets moving on chain. The tokenization of everything is the framework is getting set as we speak right now. And it's not just the SEC, but JP Morgan. We talked about Chainlink. We talked about Ondo. All of these have been in the similar news headlines lately with some of the partnerships and integrations JP Morgan has done. I don't care if you like JP Morgan or not. When you consider how much of a powerhouse they are on the world financial stage, this is a monumental, green flare being shot into the sky. Look to the assets that are going to benefit the most, that are going to be a part of this retooling of the infrastructure layer of global finance. And that's what we're in the middle of right now. Then we got Coinbase. Coinbase wants to tokenize stocks. Oh my God, tokenization is everywhere. It's not just a narrative spin. We're seeing it in real data with what's going on with the integrations, with the regulations, with the signaled changes and roadmaps from not only crypto and Web3 native companies like Coinbase, but also JP Morgan Chase, but also Ondo with their partnerships, going from BlackRock to MasterCard to McKinsey, one of the largest corporate consulting companies, as well as I think it's, what is that other one? Franklin Templeton. We're seeing the landscape integrate into the conversation with how do we tokenize, because it's going to be one of the biggest margin destroyers out there for businesses, aka driving more profits from more efficiency. Coinbase is seeking SEC approval to offer tokenized equities to US users per Reuters. This is incredible. What else we got? We're about to dive into these to the TA here in just a moment. But then it's not just the US, guys. China, the other largest economy in the world, China's largest retailer, JD.com, plans to apply for global stablecoin, there's that word again, global stablecoin licensing to slash cross-border payment costs 90% and reduce settlement times in under 10 seconds. So do you see stablecoins? It's just pegged to $1. How is this going to drive them money? Well, by one, it's the inverse of saving so much just wasted expense in the legacy antiquated system that's there. Integrating stablecoins is going to drive profits in ways that we can't even understand, while also being a major adoption point for people in the next 2 to 3 years. I think this is going to drive so much adoption. Stablecoins are going to drive some of the most adoption in the crypto ecosystem than we could have ever predicted, more so than Bitcoin, more so than what we see and how fast Solana is. But Avalanche is better. No, but I like Cardano. Let's all that tribal bullshit, set that aside. The technology is so much better, so much more efficient. The money, it comes down to money. The money that can be made now that banks can participate in the Web3 ecosystem is what's going to end up driving some of the largest adoption that we could have ever considered. So let's stay frosty, everybody. Let's get into it. But then we got some signals. Now, are you ready? We're going to dive into some TA. We're going to dive into some on-chain data. We're going to look at what is setting up and what is indicated in the near term, but also here it is raining like a stuck pig outside, baby. Just like the markets dropping, but these are setting up. I do think we're going to see some incredible things soon, so long as the world doesn't melt down. But if it does, that means it's going to be some really good buying opportunities. But let's dive into these signals. I'm going to scroll back. You guys shared some of the coins. There's a lot of people that have tuned in since. We got 2,200 people tuned in, 2,200 people. I just want to say welcome to the show. If this is your first time here, by the way, my name is Kellam. I'm here to bring the market data to you. Some of the news, but the news isn't really the focus here. The news just helps us provide color and context to the landscape that this data that we're looking at operates in, to give us a full vision and clarity as to what strategy to deploy to stay on the right side of the trend, and also squash some of our fears and understand how to look at the data in a real way to navigate it. So again, shout out to our channel partners, bitcoinira.com, and of course, Arculus. Head over to getarculus.com. Use code BitLab20, all one word, BITLAB20, for your best crypto cold storage solution. On that note, before we dive in, I just want to shout out, you've got that link up here. If you want to join us in the Discord, it is right. The link is right here. If you're a current BitLab paying member, you can send an email to office@hitnetwork.com and let them know. Do it with the email that you signed up to BitLab with, but then also share your Discord name and we can get you integrated into this for free. We're basically putting all this stuff over here rather than having to re-sign up and pay 75% more. If you are a paying BitLab member, you get the ability to be grandfathered into this at about a 75% discount. Essentially, you just keep paying in BitLab and you get access to this. The link is right here. If you want to join, that link is right here. If you want the other links to, for instance, Arculus, it's right here. If you'd like to trade with us on LBank or on, what's the other one that we're using? I forget right now. But LBank link is right here. And of course, there's a VPN link there as well. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Now we're about to dive into the TA. Make sure you are subscribed. We've kind of plateaued on subscribers for a while, but let's start driving these numbers up, get some vibes going, hit the like button, show some love. If you're watching on Twitter, on X, make sure you hit the like button. We have not hit that 40 retweets yet. Make sure you hit this retweet button. If we hit 40 retweets, we will do a $100 giveaway. I actually need to check. Was it yesterday? Let me see. Media. I'll check. I'll check at the end. But if we get 40 retweets, we'll do a $100 giveaway tomorrow. We'll check this at the beginning of the stream. But coming back, what do we got? We got some key things looking at right here. Okay. What are we looking at to determine whether or not is price high, is price low? Well, the Bitcoin short-term holder, meaning coins held or moved. If I sell a coin to you that I've been holding 10 years and I sell it to you, now that coin is back in the short-term holder cohort, which means a coin that has been held for less than 155 days. The short-term holder MVRV, the market value versus the realized value, is back near its support zone. So what we're seeing here is when this comes back down into this zone, back into this zone, back into this zone, how does it relate to what's going on price action? Well, we see this was a major dip opportunity before the price launched. What do we see here? This was that 7-month sideways price action. It was so frustrating, but it ultimately ended with the short-term holder MVRV finding support and the price rocketed from there. I mean, it went as low as about 40,000 here and went up to over 109,000 out of this move. So was a great signal. We're coming back into that zone here as well. Now, this isn't on the day to day, it's going to bounce. I'm not saying that. The data is setting up coming into an area where when this has been here before, we've seen major upside to follow. So is that going to play out? Well, we're going to look at some other data. And if you're watching a short, make sure you tune in here on the BitLab Academy channel and watch us live because we dive in very deep on a lot of this data. But here we go. We're sitting, I mean, still holding above that $100,000 mark. I'm still secretly hoping for a move down to $96,000. I think it'd be a great dip buying opportunity. It'd be very stressful for the alts out there unless you have some dry powder on the side. Shout out to Falco gifting 5 memberships. Big love to you, my friend. And shout out to the new members. You got Aaron, what's up, my brother? Aaron, Brian Wild, Warpaint, and Freedom Guy. I got some great members. And of course, my boy, Chris Pfaff. Big love to everybody out there. We got, 2,300 people tuned in. Right on. What other data are we looking at? Well, let's just not forget where we came from. If you look at the Bitcoin price compared to the previous 2 cycles, so we see this cycle and we see this cycle, and then the current cycle we're on is this pink one, this pink purplish one right here. This is organized if you collapse all of the realized price, the realized value, the average price of every Bitcoin in circulation. If you average all the prices of the last time it moved, that's what the RV is on MVRV, the realized price of every coin in circulation the last time it moved. That's why it tends to be lower than the Bitcoin price. And you get to look at those spreads of when this moves up, when this metric is moving up, that's price moving very far away from the realized price. That's what we're looking at. So here, if you organize with all of these where they're basically at the same level, and then you see how price is interacting, all of the previous cycles indicate up is next. If you look at the halving progress, and I'm going to have to click this twice to make this work, the halving progress right here, you can see where we're at in the cycle. We had more in the tank in the last cycle. We had a lot more in the tank in the cycle in the previous cycle back in 2016, 2017. And then of course, back in 2013, this right about here marked about where the top is. However, at the same token, when you look at the price on Bitcoin and you realize coming back over here, you realize that we had this seismic shift right here, the crypto administration elected, world getting involved with crypto, the world diving into what's going on, not just individuals, the biggest players on earth, the governments, the large funds and ETFs, businesses. And this is only just getting started. And we look at the price on Bitcoin and we go, but it's going to absolutely follow the 4-year cycle and it's going to top and it's going to have a 70% drawdown. I don't think that theory holds any longer. I think we're going to continue to see the oscillations, but this almost in a way kind of ushers in this whole uncertainty cycle because there's so much capital coming in. There's so many players that are stacking, not looking at TA, they're adding allocations on a weekly basis like Michael Saylor, or raising capitals and just making their buys. Governments that are going to be buying on schedules, the world racing to stack. So I think we've got to keep these targets up here in mind. Targets about $160,000, $150,000 is my conservative target of where I think we will at minimum meet. But I think we're likely to be somewhere up in the high side of this likely target zone, which would put us up in the 180 to 215 range. Now, these are possibilities, but that's why I call this the astronaut zone, because I think this is much less likely, but possible. I think most likely is going to be somewhere in this zone here. We've got higher to go. We just need to strap in and ignore some of this noise that is just trapping us. But it's not just Bitcoin that we're looking at. We're also looking at things like Ethereum, which ETH is dead, right? Ethereum's dead. Solana, all these other coins, Cardano, Avalanche, they're going to take over. They're going to flip Ethereum. Well, I don't think that's the case. I think what we're about to see is the most hated rally in the altcoin sector. We just saw ETH whales make the biggest buys since 2018. On June 15th, wallets holding 1,000 to 10,000 Ethereum scooped up almost 1 million Ethereum, a $2.5 billion buy signal not seen in over 6 years. This is while at the same time, we just had one of Trump's companies, his media company, file for a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. We also have World Liberty Finance, one of his other crypto companies, also has been stacking Ethereum like mad. We see data and activity on chain with Ethereum waking up. And this is all on the heels of some of this major genius bill, genius act getting passed, which the largest amount of stable coins are on Ethereum as well. The rails here that are on the global finance sector that is integrating into the crypto ecosystem, a good portion of that's going to be on Ethereum. I think this is kind of what the world, these whales are waking up to. And I do think we got some major upside for Ethereum. So what does that look like? What does Ethereum look like? How many of you, by the way, how many of you hold Ethereum? Throw a 1 in chat if you hold Ethereum. Throw a 2 in chat if you used to hold Ethereum, but you're on to other things. You want more aggressive growth. Throw a 3 in chat if you don't have Ethereum and it doesn't interest you whatsoever. You're just going somewhere else. You have your allocation somewhere else. I'm curious to see what you guys say. But St. Goose says Coinbase is ripping, and that's going to be one of the that's going to be something we're talking about in a second, because that affects some of the altcoins that we're about to look at. Ethereum, let's get over to it. Let's get on this chart right here. Ethereum, we're still in the sideways range that we outlined down here, came right up into it. And it's just been in this range that we outlined. And the reason why I did the box this way, that the price somehow magically came up into, is because of this massive trend line. We've talked about it a lot on this channel. If you haven't been watching, make sure you're tuning in to BitLab Academy. On a daily basis, it's around 11:30 or 12:30 a.m., basically around noon time on Monday through Friday. Sometimes the times change just a little bit, but this trend line back here since 2022, I knew this was going to be a major area of interest. And then of course we have all of these lows right here. This rejected on the low right here, which is why we drew this box the way we did. This also rejected here. And what do we see? We have the area around this trend line that the price has just been deviating and oscillating around. If we get the big spill, which I think is going to be a bear trap, again, I've highlighted this before, but it's down into this area right here. Part of the reason why is this rejection here, this support here, but also the Fibonacci support level, which is right there. Golden pocket also happens to perfectly line up right here in this 2150 zone. Again, that is if we get some monumental sell-off in the market, which I do think will ultimately end up in a pretty, quick correction up here, some work to be done, and then the move, something like that. If we don't get that move and the market maintains to hold the strength that it has been holding, and the conflict comes to an end, we get a little bit more of something more substantial than a ceasefire. We start to see, more positive movement on trade deals, which are coming due soon. We have the FOMC meeting today. We got so many things on the horizon. And now that the stablecoin bill Genius Act was essentially passed by the Senate, are we going to start to see dominoes falling more and more bullishly for other integrations between other crypto integrations across banks, across businesses? Remember, Shopify front ran all this. Shopify, which does $300 billion a year, added stablecoin payments as one of their payment options. And they're a massive merchant. Basically when you go to buy stuff, from a merchant online, a random website, a lot of those merchants that you're going to, the mom and pop little shops and stuff like that, a lot of those are done through Shopify. So yeah, damn, ETH is losing 2,500. Okay, well, let's look at it. We're actually staring at it, but let's go on the 1 hour. It's looking weak as it could be right here, but this look also super weak right here. Got a deviation. Looks super weak right here. Bounced. This looked weak, but then massive move up. But we do have a bit of a wonky head and shoulders. But my fear here is, as much as this is consolidating, this is starting to feel, and I've talked about this before, but the move, the Bart Simpson pattern, boom, and then the flush out to the downside. The question is, do we hold 2150? Do we come further back down to 1800? We have both targets that we've talked about on a regular basis, but as it stands right now, what do we see? Do we see any signal that could indicate? I mean, we had bearish divergence on the 4 hour here from this point to this point. See the lower highs on the RSI. And then at the same point right here, look at that, higher highs. So it does show some weaknesses coming in here, less confidence this is going to break out, right? Because we're trying. We tried more, but there's less strength involved. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some sort of deviation to the downside here. But then we got some other ones that we talked about. Chainlink, we highlighted a bunch of the stuff on the news with how impactful the Genius Act could be for Chainlink. We talked about this yesterday. This is still feeling weak here, but let's go ahead and redraw some of these lines. Okay, we got option T. Why is this not working? Maybe my mouse is near dead. There we go. So yes, we had a deviation up, but then this rejected, deviation up, this rejected. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on that. Got a bit of a broadening wedge. I mean, you could even go like this and just do that, either or. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is lost and we come down here into sub 12 region, potentially all the way to the low 11s in this zone. But this doesn't bother me because of the bullish fundamental growth that we're seeing on a daily basis. When you're looking at the due diligence side of stuff and you understand what's going on with some of the assets you're buying and selling and deciding to hold, or do you exit, do you capitulate? But you look at the fundamental growth while everybody else is being scared, the fundamental growth while the speculative market is looking the other way and this drops, that screams opportunity to me. That's why it's important to look at those things. Fresh report from Plebsopic saying potential negotiation from Iran underway soon. That would be great. We have to wait to see how that plays out. But I think this is, I mean, a massively coiled spring on Chainlink that we've talked about for multiple years, 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024. And I mean, look at this, just collapsing in on itself. I think if we got anything down here, this would be, I'd be selling a kidney down on the corner trying to get in if this happened. But this looks like a coiled spring that's going to absolutely melt to the upside. But we have some other things too, and that is not just Ethereum, but we got this alt to Bitcoin bullish divergences. This is screaming for a reversal. And today's FOMC meeting could play a crucial role. Just a slight hint of monetary easing and alts will explode. What do you guys think about that? I think that could be very much in the cards. We need to take it moment by moment, but we're seeing the exhaustion of the alt market. And we're seeing this collapse, this coiled spring that's, I feel, getting so tight in this market that I do think we are going to see, we are going to get the alt move season this year, in my opinion. And things like this bring me some confidence. Downward movement against Bitcoin, upward movement on the strength here, holding. So what does this look like? Well, we got this one is one of my favorite things to talk about. We've been talking about this for about 2 years. I highlighted this earlier in the stream as well. But Aerodrome, it's not just a DEX. Coinbase, only about a week ago, mentioned we will be integrating DEXs from Base directly into the main Coinbase app, enabling Coinbase users to access and trade millions of assets on chain. So now, rather than just having to be a crypto native, like Web3 expert to get into DEXs and make sure you're doing, cross-chain swaps, now within the Coinbase app, which is essentially the US's primary crypto exchange, they're bringing the decentralized DEX universe, integrating it into their centralized exchange in terms of an access point. This is monumental. The amount of volume that this is going to drive within the DEX swapping on Aerodrome, because you now have this easier access point within the Coinbase app. Aerodrome's best-in-class trading execution will soon be coming to millions of Coinbase users. The world is coming on chain. And then who replied? Coinbase themselves says slowly, then all at once. This is what we've been here for, everybody. And we see this also from Crypto Ed. The whole market took a hit with the global tension, but Aero's been pumping like a madman in the face of all of this. I mean, I added some more Aerodrome to I rotated out of some stuff and rotated some more into Aerodrome last night. And it's hard to do when you're seeing pumpage, but it got me to thinking, if you come over here and you look at Aerodrome, this is the difference. We see Aerodrome currently at 100, now, golly, this has jumped quite a bit, 1.38 fully diluted value market cap. But guys, what we're seeing here in this market, it's really just a $695 million market cap. Fully diluted value is when, all the projected coins continue to come out, what that would be at. With all the coins that are available and the price, we're at basically a sub $1 billion market cap for an asset that just got tied into an access point with the largest volume driver in the US in terms of exchange, and that is Coinbase. So if all of these things that we're talking about, like cross-chain swaps and all the different, the whole base ecosystem and the DeFi funding and tools and utility that's coming in the base ecosystem, and that's all going to be accessed now directly through Coinbase. This is monumental. Monumental. Yeah. So that's why I've been seconding. I think this could go very high. When you think about this, when you look at Uniswap, for instance, Uniswap, let's look at what it did last cycle, right? And this is not integrated with a main DEX, right? This is something, it's its own DEX, right? Yes, they're on a lot of markets. Of course, you could trade the token itself. But when you look at this, you go to market cap, you go to all. This got up to, look at this, up in the $21 billion market cap zone, 21 billion. And now we have the base ecosystem, which is growing dramatically, also getting integrated into Aerodrome DEX, getting integrated into Coinbase. And then you come back over here. This could get up to 21 billion in a smaller market, right? Than it was last time. And you look at this, and this is sitting here at sub 1 billion, guys. I think this is a major top cap coin in terms of the security aspect of it. Could they have exploits? Oh, sure. I'm talking about the how entrenched this is now in the ecosystem because of this deeper partnership with Coinbase and the access point that Coinbase brings. So although this is, you get this sort of mid low cap sort of growth potential with the already assigned, acknowledged, and being delivered integrations that are going to be monumental for this asset. Now, beyond Aerodrome, what else we got? We also see Cantor Fitzgerald declares Solana's tech is meaningfully better than Ethereum on every metric. There are some players out there that think that. We're seeing some major movement in the Solana ecosystem, as well as the ETF movement and things like this. I think this is very entrenched in that, that top market. We also see weakened Solana. ETF fever rises. The pump fund gets banned. It's back. It had something to do with the X APIs. But SOL drops 4% despite ETF hype. Pump fund ban on X. Galaxy stakes 40 million in Solana, soon raising $5 million, I think, to stack more. And Bybit is launching a Solana DEX. Major impacts in the Solana ecosystem. Then we see Solana and ICP. Solana is integrating with the Internet Computer Protocol, joining Bitcoin and Ethereum, enabling cross-chain smart contracts across all 3 blockchains. So we're seeing integrations there. Man, I have to pee so bad, guys. We're going to have to wrap this in a second. Bittensor also. Guys, I think if you're not stacking into Bittensor as an AI play, if you're interested in the AI sector, then you're not looking in the right direction. This has all of the right players involved. Could there be an issue? There could be an issue with every asset out there. Do your diligence. But this has subnets. Basically, think of them like coins, but subnets, AI ecosystems, private AI ecosystems built within the Bittensor ecosystem. And they're now also getting listed and valued on CoinGecko. Guys, what we're about to see in this market is nothing short of spectacular. I love you guys. I have to go. I'm doing the dance. You see me. I did run a little long today. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We're going to do more TA tomorrow. This is so much to cover on a daily basis. I try to squeeze it in. But with that, everybody have a wonderful day. I love you. I appreciate you. Keep your head about you because it's about to get super exciting. I'm waiting on that right there. 200K Bitcoin. And man, take advantage of these frustrating times because most people are just frustrated. Be frustrated and take advantage of this so you can reap the rewards later as the market rips. Adios, everybody.